I'm not going to edit it out. Seriously. What's the most embarrassing person you wouldn't want to tell our listeners that you listen to? Is it Britney?
Ariana Grande, dude. Ariana Grande is...
She slaps?
Dude, she's amazing. She's amazing, dude. Ariana Grande is like an incredible singer. And like she's like the pop starlet kind of brand.
She
but
also
like,
is a smoking hot 10.
Yeah.
Maybe
Exactly.
a 12. She's a 12.
Exactly. Exactly. It helps. But that new song, God is a Woman, is like... Have you heard it?
No.
Dude, it slaps like so hard. So hard. Everybody go listen to that shit. I'm a huge Ariana Grande fan, huge Fall Out Boy fan. I'm laying it all out there.
J. Cole. Green Sky.
Tech Nine.
I mean,
Seal. Alanis Morissette.
Hell yeah. It's ironic that we're sitting here talking about it.
I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, I have the same way. I know this may be why, we were able to become friends and such, is that I have that eclectic, it's a little bit of everything. So, like, I have a country playlist from the 90s, it's Garth and shit. And then you got your Fall Out Boy, and then you do have some rap that you want to hit on,
Exactly.
there's a little bit of everything, and it almost depends on a mood. So it seems like you can kind of channel these moods whenever you're not only kind of, I guess, grinding it out, but also trying to figure out what's next. So how did you come up with your sound, your noise? Was it a collaboration of all of these geniuses?
It is. And that's kind of the... in going about this album, I really kind of did it more or less like in seclusion because I think since I started making music, I've had a tendency to like ask everyone's opinion about everything, and it really held me back in a lot of ways. And when I went into this album, I decided I wasn't going to show anybody any of it until it was released. And so like the only ones who heard it were like my girlfriend, my manager, and the people that are on it, like the producers, the musicians that are on it. Those are the only people that heard it. And even then, the producers and everything only heard the songs that they were on. So
there was no taste. Everyone only got just like a little tidbit.
Exactly.
A little bite.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody heard the whole thing. So I put it out because, well, first of all, I didn't know what people were going to think. This was like, I was really the only one who had heard it all, and in order and how it was supposed to be listened to. But one of the things that I got as feedback was like, there's like a really wide range of sounds on here, and that was, I mean, it's cool to hear, but that was also not like totally intentional. I think that comes from having all these influences that we're talking about. I mean, there's Latin guitar on there, flamenco guitar. There's really jazzy stuff on there, really more percussive based stuff. But then there's also like the modern sound. There's like a little bit of trap drums on there, and like there's a little bit of that more modern hip hop sound. So that's definitely a product of me just kind of like absorbing all these different things. But
it slaps. I mean,
thank you, man.
Not only does, by the way, for our listeners, go check out all of his stuff. It's Dylan Montayne, D-Y-L-A-N, Montayne, M-O-N-T-A-N-E.
Y-N-E.
Y-N-E.
Y-N-E, yeah. Woo. You're good. M-O-N-T-A-Y-N-E.
Thank you for doing that. You can find him on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. You can find him everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's the debut album. It's
Ask Alexa.
Ask Alexa. Yeah. But it does slap. And, that's one, I kind of caught you in the Denver kind of like the buzz. That's kind of coming around. We've seen 303 has given you a shout out. We've seen Westward. And now you're headlining a show this weekend.
Yeah.
And so when I heard it, I was like, holy shit. And you had mentioned somewhere along the lines of, I've had this, kind of personal to the chest for 2 years working on this music video,
Yeah.
and that fucking thing's a banger.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
It's a banger.
Yeah, that's...
And you did that all on you? You figured all that out?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's... The song is Rebecca Lane, which is the title track of the album. So the album's called Rebecca Lane, and we did this video. I had recorded that song 2 years ago, and I had gone viral, for rapping in Uber, and and that was like this really crazy experience. My video, like, I had been making music for 5, 7, 8 years at that point, and had put so much money and like every ounce of effort into like professionally produced videos and all this stuff, and then the one video that got noticed was filmed on my phone and was like completely unplanned. And
that was the one where y'all are popping bottles around the fire?
No.
Okay. No, you're talking about when
I was driving, when I was driving Uber, you know, like I rapped for these girls who were my passengers, and then all sorts of celebrities like tweeted it, and it now has 9 million views, and I literally spent $0 on that.
It's funny how the world works like that, right?
Oh my god, yeah. So coming off of that was 2 years ago, and it was like an interesting experience because I thought that was the break. I thought I was about to blow up, and for about 2 weeks I had all sorts of people reaching out to me, and then it went radio silent like instantly. And like this is, I think, like in the long run I'm gonna have a lot to say like to independent artists and like people coming up about those kinds of things.
Tread lightly on who you trust and who you believe. Don't believe all the outside noise, so to speak.
Yeah.
Word, I'll take that advice as well.
Yeah, he's writing it down.
Well,
there you go. As an up-and-comer.
We do have a microphone, so don't listen to outside cocksuckers. Got it.
Rule number 1.
Well, 3.
Don't listen to outside cocksuckers. And that's why I went into like this mode where I was like, you know what, like, fuck everyone, like fuck what everyone's telling me. I'm just gonna like make the music that I like and not ask anybody what they think about it until it's out. And so like I wrote this song called Rebecca Lane, which is kind of like an ode to my hometown.
Not a girl, not some filly that broke your
both.
heart.
Oh, it's both.
God, she's a muse.
No, she hasn't broken my heart yet, but it's Rebecca Lane was. I mean, it's a little bit of symbolism, but on the surface, Rebecca Lane is an actual street in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that we used to party on as teenagers, and there was just this feeling of hope and excitement, and like the world was ours. You know, at that moment, like that's when I was freestyling with my boys, and we'd light these big bonfires outside, and you know, we would party out in the wilderness because there's not a lot going on in Santa Fe. So we would kind of like find these little pockets and light a huge fire, like really dangerous because New Mexico is dry as fuck, like super illegal. But we'd be out there, and I kind of like started writing about not necessarily like that specifically, but those feelings of excitement and hope, and like, you know, the future being very bright, like regardless of whatever actually ends up happening. And that song became Rebecca Lane, and then we did this video in the snow, and it was just me and all my friends, and it turned out really awesome, because it was this snowy day where like there was like this layer of fog over Santa Fe, and we had a drone and all sorts of shit, and the drone would like fly into the fog and everything would disappear, and then it would come back down. So like we had all this amazing footage, and I just decided, I was like, this is way too good to just like throw out there, and I need to build an album around this. And so that's kind of what I did. And it took a lot longer than I expected, but like I wrote the album Rebecca Lane over the next like 2 years, and it finally came out this December, after a long wait. But again, like it was just me going back to like, okay, let's make the music that I want, that reminds me of like those times and reminds me of like why I started rapping. You know, it was never about like money or like getting famous or anything. Like
it was shooting the shit with your buddies on the back of the bus, or you know, sitting eat on your buddies in the locker room.
Yes. It was just shooting the shit, and it was chasing girls, and it would be like, you know, a way to like impress girls even, you know, and like, and
that's righteous, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, so Rebecca Lane is out, and you know, the response has been really cool. Like I definitely I didn't expect to get so many like newspapers and like, I was like front page of 2 newspapers back home, and then like a few write-ups up here, like was just in Rooster Mag and like stuff like that. So the response has been really cool, especially like considering I really didn't show anybody. So
yeah, and I think that was kind of, I don't know exactly how it came across, like it just kind of flew across our bow, or wherever it may have been.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't either. And it may have been someone like the Rooster or 303 that was like heads up for these local artists that are, killing it on the scene. Yeah. And so I happened to stumble across your YouTube page and your YouTube video, and I was like, holy fuck, this shit slaps. Nice, and I was like, this is cool, and it's neat because you're kind of in the same boat as what we're doing, It's like following your passion. Like, we used to talk shit with each other all the time. And
now you have a microphone.
And now we talk shit on the internet with, buddies. And we get to learn a little bit about folks that we hang out with. And, one thing that was really cool about you is like, I think I read either on one of either your YouTube page or whatever it may be, it was like you recorded this with all those people in those videos are your buddies from high school, And so when we sit here and joke around about Fall Out Boy and old Volvos and like Blair music with subs, it feels very nostalgic for me, but also I feel like a lot of folks at our age are able to kind of relate to that. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's funny. I was having a conversation with a good friend and frequent collaborator, Grayson Earhart. He's a guitarist, a singer-songwriter. Amazing. He's Colorado-based.
Is that Amelia's brother?
No, yeah, Amelia. Nice.
No, that would be a joke, except for there is a Denver newscaster. Her name is Amelia
Earhart? No, wait.
I swear to God.
Oh, shit.
Her parents had a great sense of humor. But
yeah,
I don't
that's
know if it's
hilarious.
Grace's brother.
No, it's not.
Shout out to 9 News or whatever it is.
Amelia, what up? Shout out Amelia. No, Grayson, when I first moved to Denver 5 years ago, I guess, we can kind of pull it back to the original story. So I graduated Notre Dame. I didn't have a job. I had been, like, senior year was, like, this crazy conflicting thing for me because, I was around all these high achievers and everyone was getting really...
Going to fucking Chicago and
everyone was
pins
getting...
their,
dude. Or Wall Street or whatever it was, and... I just didn't know what to do because I was just like I really want to do this rap shit, and there's no one telling you how to do that. And like still to this day, like if you're in arts or if you are an actor or you make movies or you make music or you do a podcast, nobody is telling you like how to do that ever, at any step of the way. And half the time the people who are telling you don't fucking know or haven't done it. So
they say that those that cannot do teach. So how are they supposed to sit here and tell us how to follow your passion?
Exactly.
Or,
exactly.
If your passion's fucking spitting lyrics, fire. Then they can't help you with that because they're sitting in front of a classroom with 300 kids in fucking sweater vests. I'm just assuming. I've never actually been Rudy and the kid that fell from the
dude,
high
we
tower.
Get so much shit for Rudy, man.
He was offsides.
He was like famous for being really bad at football, basically.
If that's the case, then sign me up for a soccer star.
He's the only guy who's famous for being super not good at football. Anyways, so I graduated, and this music producer who's a fucking piece of shit. By the way, I hope you're listening. He told me to come to Denver, which was a good thing, ultimately. But he took a bunch of money from me and didn't do shit, and he blew smoke up my ass like he was gonna like make me a star and shit. All of his entire resume was false. He was saying he was working with the Fray and shit. Not true. So me and this guy, Grayson Earhart, were working with him, and Grayson... at the time was a student at Colorado State. This guy's just a next level guitarist, like should be fucking
slaps
huge.
As well?
Yeah, he slaps. So we've been working together ever since that, and we both kind of broke ties with this guy, and have been doing our own thing. But we were actually rehearsing last night. I'm doing a So Far gig tomorrow. which is really cool to me because
today.